When you hear the word hyena, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it that cackling, scheming villain from your favorite animated movie? Well, get ready, because we're about to flip that image on its head. The real story of the hyena is one of the most misunderstood and honestly one of the most fascinating in the entire animal kingdom.
Yeah, for most of us, this is the picture that's been burned into our brains. You know, the giggling opportunist, kind of skulking in the shadows, just waiting for the real predators to finish up so they can sneak in and grab the scraps. It's a powerful stereotype, and it's everywhere.
It pretty much always cast as the bad guys, right? Cowardly, kind of dirty, the perfect foil for the big, noble lion. And that reputation has followed them for centuries, painting this picture of them as just the freeloaders of the savanna.
Oh, not even close. What if I told you that this animal is actually a powerhouse predator, and that it lives in one of the most complex, female-dominated societies on the entire planet? Yeah, it's time to set the record straight.
So, first things first, let's actually unpack what we mean by hyena. Because here's our first big mistake, thinking they're all the same. The family, Hyenidae, is way more diverse than you'd think.
There are 4 living species today, and they are wildly different from each other. You've got the famous spotted hyena, the shaggy-looking brown hyena, the widespread striped hyena, and then there's the one that just breaks all the rules, the aardwolf.
And just look at this contrast, it says it all. On one hand, you had the spotted hyena, a literal bone-crushing hunter. And on the other, you've got the aardwolf, which has evolved to eat pretty much nothing but termites. I mean, same family, but 2 completely different playbooks for survival. It's incredible.
Okay, so let's zoom in on the one we all think we know, the spotted hyena. Because their social life, well, it completely turns our assumptions about how mammal societies work right upside down.
We've all heard the term matriarchy, but in the animal kingdom, a true, full-on matriarchy is unbelievably rare. For spotted hyenas, though, it's not just some abstract concept. It is the absolute law of the land.
So in a spotted hyena clan, which can have up to 80 members, the females run the whole show. They're physically bigger and way more aggressive than the males. Get this, the lowest-ranking female is still dominant over the highest-ranking male. The females lead the hunts, they defend the territory, they control everything.
All right, it's time to tackle the biggest myth of all, this idea that hyenas are just lazy scavengers. The real science has given us a very, very different picture.
The reality is actually the complete opposite of the myth. I mean, just look at these numbers. Studies show that spotted hyenas hunt and kill the vast majority of their own food. We're talking up to 75%. They are incredibly successful and efficient hunters, totally capable of taking down huge prey like zebra and wildebeest.
Now, even though they're amazing hunters, they're also master opportunists. And this is where that scavenger reputation comes from. But think about it. It's not about being lazy. It's about being smart. If you can steal a meal instead of chasing one down for miles, why wouldn't you? Here's a perfect example of that strategy in action. Researchers in India watched striped hyenas go up against leopards. So a leopard would make a kill, and within minutes, the hyenas would just show up. They used their numbers and sheer nerve to intimidate the lone leopard and, well, take over the carcass. It's a risky game for sure, but it pays off. So how are they so good at both hunting and scavenging? Well, it all comes down to some truly remarkable superpowers, both physically and mentally. These animals are literally built to survive.
A hyena's body is just incredible. Their jaws are so powerful, they can splinter the bones of a buffalo. And then their digestive system can process bone, skin, even hair. This means they get nutrients from parts of a carcass that other predators just have to leave behind. Absolutely nothing goes to waste.
But here's where it gets really weird and fascinating. We know the females are bigger and stronger, but one study found that males, even though their bodies are smaller, actually have slightly larger brains relative to their size. We don't totally know why, but it just goes to show you it challenges all our simple ideas about size, power, and intelligence.
And they are built for the long haul. Look at this number, 12.4 kilometers. That's the average distance a single spotted hyena travels in just 24 hours. That's like running a 10K every single day with a couple more kilometers tacked on for good measure. They are always on the move, patrolling huge territories for that next meal.
But you know, a hyena's story today isn't just about the wild savanna. Their biggest challenge is navigating a world that's more and more dominated by us. And once again, their ultimate superpower kicks in: adaptability.
See, in places where their territories overlap with ours, say where people are grazing livestock, they can't just operate business as usual. They have to adjust their entire way of life.
And this chart shows exactly how they do it. A study in the Masai Mara compared two groups of hyenas. Look at this difference. In areas with livestock, their activity during the daytime just plummets. They basically make themselves invisible when people are around.
To survive, they've completely flipped their schedule. In these areas, a staggering 96.2% of their activity, that's all their hunting, their traveling, their socializing, it's all crammed into the hours between dusk and dawn. They've learned to live in the shadows just to avoid us.
So when you really think about it, the laugh, the reputation, all those stereotypes, they totally miss the point. The hyena isn't just a scavenger or just a hunter. It's a master survivor, armed with social smarts, incredible physical power, and an unmatched ability to adapt to a changing world.
And that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Hyenas have survived for millions of years by being flexible. But as human pressures keep growing, their greatest test is happening right now. Their future really depends on whether their incredible talent for adaptation can keep pace with our rapidly changing planet.